There he is. Damn, he's at a show right now? I didn't even know.
Oh, wow. That's so fancy.
That's so Evan.
Hello.
Hello there.
You get a crowd selfie?
Yeah. Here we go. There we go.
All right. Hello there. We're all here.
Right.
This is great.
Yeah, we all made it. Sorry, my computer had to wake up and then did that thing where it's like, we need to reset and update.
Yeah, only at when you need to do
Classic.
something is when it needs to do those things.
Yeah.
That's usually how that goes. Yeah. But anyway, I was telling Stefan, who I decided I'm going to call Stefan instead. I was saying that so I've been doing these interviews or podcast things for like a minute. But it's kind of me using my time wisely as somebody, I'm the lead singer of my band. So I just kind of like send off ideas and like let the guys like mess with them. And in the meantime, I figure let's be productive and, not only network with artists, but also give them, not that we have like a super large platform, but just like give local artists a platform to talk about their music in a scene where original music isn't really as valued as I believe it should be.
Definitely.
And basically just kind of like start the train of like artists supporting other artists.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what this is,
Very cool.
Nothing too crazy or serious, but it's also, as this interview will live on like our YouTube and like I'll put a blog post up on our blog, as we start doing whatever we're doing and we get whatever following we get. The idea is that, when people find us, they also find the people in our scene who like we're connected to through these podcasts or whatever.
Yeah, it's like if one person makes it, then everyone makes it, sort of thing.
Exactly. So that's the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I was telling Christian when he first came in, because he was here first, so he gets that credit. But In Your Sleep is great. I love it. It gives me, I was saying like Incubus type vibes, but it's not only Incubus, and it's not that you can only be defined by the music that it's similar to. But it was definitely like when I was like humming it, I couldn't stop thinking of like Animali. So that was pretty cool. And then Yesterday's Lighter, I was also telling Christian that it gave me very like either like anime opening or ending vibes.
Right on. That's sick.
So that really like I like sent it to all my friends. I'm like, tell me this isn't like a slice of life anime ending. Like, just tell me it's not.
Compliment. We all love anime.
Me and Evan are huge.
I thought we could spend just Stefan and Evan just talking about anime, and I can just
like,
we haven't quite been able to force Christian into it yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, there's something for everybody. These days, I have been more into like games. So like I've played Persona 5 maybe 15 times. That's a lie because it's too long. But just a lot. So I've been kind of into that these days. But so I want to talk more about like how you guys got together. I know that you two, I'm pointing to you as if you could like see me, but like you can't. You two are siblings.
Yes, we grew up brothers.
Yes. So, but you're currently in different places.
Yeah. So we don't live in the same house anymore, but yeah, we work together and we're together quite often.
Oh, you work together. What do you guys do?
We work at the Guitar Center in Rockville.
Oh, nice. I actually went there to pick up my keyboard controller. Maybe we met. I don't know. Okay, that's super cool. Because I was actually talking to another band who they're actually like 5 siblings,
Oh
and they're
wow.
like it's insane. I couldn't imagine. Well, my brother's a lot younger than I am, but like I couldn't imagine like being in band with my brother. So like, how's that for you guys?
Awesome. It's one of the best things.
Yeah, I think it's rad. It's really cool because we're like we can almost have like a language amongst ourselves that's even deeper than like like when you have musical language with someone where you can kind of like feel what each other's thinking and stuff like that. It's all like that, but it goes deeper in the fact that like we can like communicate really well, and our ideas are very similar in their roots. Like all the music that we grew up listening to is very similar, but we both branch out to different stuff. So that kind of helps a lot. But yeah, I mean, we're really similar, but we also have differences that kind of gives things a lot of variety.
Mm-hmm.
It's also been a really cool thing as far as like growing up as musicians together, being like great friends and then still rivals at the same time, wanting to one up each other and like writing something really cool and then seeing the other person write something really cool. And it's like, wait a second.
Yeah,
now I have to up my chops and that kind of
it's like Sasuke and
yes,
it's a really great experience. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Except that you kill our whole tribe.
But like that's like crucial to like music is you actually have to have that like rivalry, whether it's with a musician or like a musician who like is currently in the scene doing it. Like you kind of need that. And I think you need that for anything. You need that for sports. You need that for any kind of craft you do. You kind of need somebody to like look up to and kind of aspire to and try to be better than.
Yeah.
So that's, it's crucial and you need that.
Yeah. It's a really cool relationship, honestly. And it's like, it's very healthy to have someone that you can work really well with, but like also work like against at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But yeah, and it gives the music a really nice flavor, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I read a little bit about your bio. Like I read a little bit, I read your bio, but like what about like how you guys got together isn't in your bio? Like what's the story?
Well, basically I graduated from college and came home and I was like, I want to be like the singer-songwriter. Like I want to start this project, and Stefan was on board. So we needed to find a drummer. And basically we posted in like the Facebook Town of Poolesville like page. So because all 3 of us grew up in this really small town in Maryland called Poolesville.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I was like, hey, like I'm looking for a drummer ready to start a project. And then I was like, wait, I should go edit this. So I went back to edit it and like keyword search drummer. And I saw that Chris had also posted like a month before that about doing it. And I was like, oh, this is rad. Like I know who he is. Like we went to high school together. So like I knew who he was. It wasn't like some like random person, although it's kind of hard to find a random person in a town that small. But yeah, like we got together and we just kind of jammed a little bit. And we really all kind of clicked when we got together. And
very
Chris
much
is really good. Yeah, Chris is really good at like when I come to the band with a original song, like he locks in really well and comes up with something like really unique and like really fitting. So it all kind of came together like that. Like when we play like original stuff, it was like that's when we looked around and we're like, all right, this is gonna work.
Yeah. And to his point, it's actually kind of funny with that post. It might be like a night or two before. I had been playing in a cover band out of Virginia. Not for very too long. They were kind of having some interband
quarrels.
Gets rough out here.
Yeah, and I played 1 or 2 gigs with them, and then they all decided to split. And so I was super frustrated. Yeah, I know. Like really early on, like I was just starting to get into like the live music scene, and sure enough, maybe a couple of days later, after Evan messaged me, I went to their house, and after that first day, because Evan had presented like 1 or 2 songs he already wrote that first practice. And I mean, yeah, but that look where we all just looked at each other like, this is going to be something fun. And here we are 3 almost 4 years later. I mean,
I didn't even play bass at the time. I picked it up for that. I was just like kind of shredding, or not even shred. I was playing guitar in my basement, and then Evan came back and was like, "Hey, let's do this thing." I'm like, "Of course." So it's been a great experience.
Yeah, we were like, "Oh, Stefan, you play bass now."
I mean, I think that's how a lot of bassists like come into the world, is like, oh, we already have a guitarist, so.
Yeah,
I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I do, but it is an extremely fun instrument and still very different than guitar in its own respect. Whole nother beast.
Yeah, I feel like a nice bass groove is really that thing that like makes a song for me.
Yeah.
So like
The
bass
rhythm
is crucial.
is what is key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what is like makes you dance to the song or not.
Absolutely. Yes. And I have no ability to write bass parts, like zero. So like I very much like bassists. You guys are good.
Our music is very rhythm section driven, and
yes, I think that's why I connect with it so much. Like the rhythm is really what, like your drum parts, they're good. And
we
you know,
started it to 3-piece, so we kind of had to be like, me and Chris had to be very, very present in order to really get things across.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Evan on guitar and lead and vocals at the same time, you know, we had to be very present for that kind of thing.
And I think what's great about our dynamic too is not one person leads the creation. Like if Stefan approaches us with like a groove, you know, for a song that Evan, you know, has words to, you know, we kind of let people carry the flag and and work that way. And I think that's been great for us because we have written some really, really great music, and each piece has, you know, an instrument that, you know, is maybe more present than the others, but they all work together really well. And it's been really, really cool. And, you know, I just can't wait to see what we come up with, you know, in the future.
Yeah. And I think you guys really have that connection, you know, having like grown up together. Because like not a lot of people can do that. A lot of times you kind of have to like kind of decide like, this is your song, so like you make the decisions. I'll come up with like different ideas, but like, you know, you get the final say.
Right.
But being able to kind of collaborate like that is pretty rare, I think.
Yeah, I think to your point, I mean, because we all need each other's talents and each other's voice and each other's, you know, input, or else we won't be successful. And I think that's been key for us.
Yeah, that's definitely what gives our music such a unique sound, I would say, is like the way that we all approach it. And like I'll come to the band with a song written, but it's just like words and like the vocal melody and like the guitar chords, and then Stefan will be like, oh, like I have this cool bass thing, and Chris locks in with like a really cool drum part, and they really take life once we get together and start playing them, where there's like it's only like the structure when I bring it to the rest of the guys, but it definitely is like my favorite thing when we start working on a new song and we're in that like creative, like, you know, like pack mode where we're all like digging in, like, okay, what if I do this? And like, all right, awesome. Like you do more of that. And like, we're all working on each other's parts, like as we're working on our own. And we all are like if Chris is like, Evan, like maybe back off the guitar a little bit, or, you know, stuff like that. It's like non-toxic at all. Like we're all very like acceptive of each other's kind of input on,
and kind of like what's best for the song, what's best for the music.
Exactly.
The song comes first.
Like In Your Sleep, especially, that was a song that I had written the words to like years ago, and had gone through like 3 different phases of life with like trying out different guitar parts to it, and then I've been playing around with the chords structure that are in that song currently, and Stefan actually came up with that really cool bass groove, and I just started playing those chords over it, and I was like, hold on, like I have words that would fit perfectly with this. And then Chris comes in with that clock at the beginning and everything, and it was just so much fun to work on that one.
Yeah, I really love that one. Like I was listening to it, just kind of talk to you guys about it, and then just like started listening to it just because I liked it. You know, like
Thank you.
It's very good. So Evan, because I kind of have the same story is like I was kind of finishing college and I was like, man, I need to do some of this music thing. Like what was it just like a thought for you, or was it kind of like it was something you always wanted to do but you kind of never had the right time and you kind of decided, you know, what was the catalyst for you?
So for me, I kind of took a break from music at like in high school, like late high school. Like I was still playing guitar, but like it wasn't very important. Like it's just like something I could always do that I would like bring out whenever I felt like picking up a guitar. But like my sophomore year of college, I got really back into it, like seriously playing it like 6 hours a day. And then I joined a band like my junior year, and we gigged all over South Carolina. And I played lead guitar at the time, and it was like a country rock band. So like I was just like playing a lot of like blues, like, you know, kind of just like bends and cool stuff like that. And then I was in another band my senior year, and I was playing, you know, like lead guitar and like a little bit of backup vocals, but I was writing a lot. And I was like, I really want to like write and like sing and like have my own project where it's like all original stuff. And I was originally going to move to Nashville after I graduated college, but that ended up not working. So that's why I came back home, and I was like, well, you know, I'm here. I might as well like start this thing with my brother, since we both play and we both want to start a band. So it just kind of all happened that way. But yeah, I guess the catalyst was just like really just loving gigging and writing. And I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I ended up graduating and just being like, I'm just going to go for it and, you know, do music because that's what I love, and, you know, give it my best shot.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super cool. Like, and that idea of like spending hours of your day doing stuff. Like I have nights where I just like, okay, well, this idea has popped into my head. I have no choice but to write this song. You know, like it's telling me I have to write it. And I think we all kind of get that, just like that drive to do it.
Yeah, you just get filled with energy, and you're like, you have to attack it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Christian, when did you start playing drums?
So it's actually when I started getting into music, was 7th grade band, and, you know, in middle school. I was one of those kids that didn't have an instrument, and their wind instrument like was at capacity in terms of, you know, kids. So they said, why don't you go in the back and try this? And to that day, that's all I've ever wanted to do, was play music. And, you know, and around here, the band programs weren't super big, seemed to be on the edge of the county. So the band classes were small. And so I kind of almost like tripped and fell into the music program I went into in college, because I went into auditions and I'd flunk them because, you know, I didn't have access to the instruments, you know, that they were requiring to play. I didn't have like any private instructors or anything. I was almost like self-teaching myself, like self-taught. And professor at the University of Tennessee said, we see potential and we want to give you a shot. And I'm so thankful for that opportunity, because I got to study with some of the best musicians and instructors in the country. And I was in the music program for about 5.5 years and studied not just drum set, but, you know, world percussion, any kind of percussion instrument. And I learned how to play everything else.
So cool.
Yeah. Because I'm a music teacher. That's my day trade. And, you know, just trying to live the world tour band dream in the evening. So hopefully that gets flip-flopped.
Definitely.
But, you know, one day it'd be great. But, yeah. And drum set, you know, something I've always loved doing. I traveled with the basketball teams at the university, and played in a whole bunch of arenas around the country, and, you know, got to really build up my chops. And it's something that I've always loved to do. And I'm so thankful, because my parents, you know, growing up, they didn't care about the noise. They wanted me to play as loud as I wanted any day, anytime. So I owe a lot to a lot of different people, and I'm just to be in this spot today. And yeah, I mean, I love making noise. That's my job.
Nice. That's
so,
awesome.
yeah, I love doing it.
And I wanted to touch a little bit, Evan, when you said, like, you know, thought about moving to Nashville. Like, I think we all have that thought. We all have I got to go to LA. I got to go to Nashville, I gotta go to wherever like the music hub is. And I think that's kind of where this project, how can we make our scene Nashville, because the thing about it is a lot of times people go there and they're kind of like demoralized because, it's so saturated. There's so many people going there trying to, reach their dreams, not realizing that like millions of people had the same idea at the same time, and now you're all going there, and it becomes cutthroat, and like that's not what music is about. Like it's about having like a good time and like saying, just telling the world what you want to tell the world. So you don't want to be stifled by all this like disgusting competition stuff.
It definitely can get toxic in environments like that, where people are like, like you said, it's a cutthroat. And I think it goes back to what you were saying before about, kind of making a scene where musicians help each other out. I think that's one of the best things, like for any scene, get like shows and like stuff like this, like musicians helping musicians. And I like playing shows where there's a bunch of different bands on the bill and you get to meet everybody and like talk about each other's music, and your friends bring their friends and everything like that. And I think it's definitely, that's how we make this scene like something that people of higher power to kind of bring people along. Because I think one of the biggest things for people like, oh, I want to go to Nashville so I get recognized, so I get exposure. Because I don't think there's a whole lot of like that happening around here, just because I don't really know of anyone who's just been like, oh yeah, we were playing a random gig like at the Pinch, and
that's not a thing here.
Records walked in, and like that doesn't happen around here. So like everyone has to grind really, really hard here to get noticed and to make it out. And there's definitely something awesome about that, and the fact that it's like you have to work hard to get somewhere. But I definitely think it also goes a long ways. Everyone's got to help each other out.
Yep, absolutely.
And to that point too, me being in Knoxville, like maybe 2 hours away from Nashville, I mean, there'd be guys in my studio, like in the drum set studio specifically, who would go to Nashville over the weekend to like take an audition for, a pop star that's touring for the summer. And, you heard that all the time. And, it's something about that city, and maybe it could be the artists that live there that promote the music so well. Like, I guess we don't get enough of that here. And maybe it takes, some pretty big names to come here and like set up shop and be like, look, this place needs to be rejuvenated in that sense. It'd be great to have that competition, because it only just makes playing gigs and getting those shows a lot easier, because the demand is there.
Absolutely. So do you guys want to talk a little bit more about like the production of In Your Sleep and kind of how that all happened?
So in terms of like actually recording and everything?
Anything you want to talk about in terms of it?
So I think one of my favorite stories about the song is when we first played it live. We were playing a wedding in our town of Poolsville.
Oh, that's right.
It was like the first time we'd ever played it live, and we're all really excited about it. And so it starts with like Chris on the drums, and Stefan comes in with the bass. And like the first thing I see is just like everyone at the wedding is just like dancing their pants off. Like everyone's moving. And I just like looked around and I was like, guys, like this is a good one. And like we killed it. Like everyone loved it. And we're like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome. And then like afterwards we found out that like everyone at the wedding was on Molly. So we were like, oh, like that's great too. But it just was like so cool to like look down and see like everyone just like dancing so hard to the song. But it's definitely one of my favorite stories, where like the first time we played it live, and like so we all like knew like this is a hit, like this is like a song that we need to record. So then when it came time to do that, we found an engineer out in like Monrovia, Maryland. His name is Kenny Eaton. He
great recording.
Yeah, and he's like he's really, really good, and he definitely pushed us to like track everything like exactly how we wanted to sound. So there was no like, oh yeah, like that's fine, we'll fix it in like post-production. He was like, no, like you need to play this exactly how you want it to sound. And I think that has a lot to do with how good this song really sounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really has that like natural human but also polished feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really is what makes it, because I have this like I don't like the song as much studio. I really like it live. Like I want like the recording of that one
Mm-hmm.
live whatever, and I think this song kind of gives me that like live feeling, but like I said, also, polished. So that's, I think that, like you said, I think that attests to that.
Yeah, we definitely wanted everything to be like the sound, like, yeah, like it's a really good studio recording, but we also wanted to have like that live feel to where it's like there's not a like when we play it live, people are like, wow, this sounds just like the recording. Like we want it to be like that good to where it's like, like people can see us and there's no like, oh, like there's the live band or they're just like a studio band. We wanted it to be like very symmetrical.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super cool. So when you first like saw this, whatever like post or whatever that I made, what kind of drove you to like, hey, that's something that I want to do? Like just do the interview, or kind of what did you expect out of it? I haven't asked anybody this question yet, but like I just kind of want to like know kind of where you guys were thinking, I guess.
Yeah, well, so I'm on that page and I saw it, and I've been trying to get us like some sort of like interview or buzz going, because we've never done anything like this either. And like I've been like constantly trying to figure out stuff for us to do during this the coronavirus situation. So I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, like this sounds like so much fun. Like I'd love to, talk about it. And it's like just sounds like a really cool opportunity for all of us to, get together and kind of help each other out. And it's super ideal. You emailed me back pretty quickly and I was like, oh nice, like it's actually gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. That was one thing that I was talking about with his name is Waylon. He's a artist out in Baltimore, but yeah, I was like, a lot of times, people go out there and they say like, hey, I want to do this thing, but like it never really like happens, or they don't really follow through. I think that's one of the like main things that like you just gotta follow through. You just gotta do it.
Yeah.
And that's even with just like starting a band or becoming an artist. You just have to do it.
Yeah, and I definitely think it was like sometimes you see posts like that and you message the person and you never hear back. So it was like really awesome and refreshing to like get a quick response and like to get things set up. Like it couldn't have been easier to like get the dates picked out and everything. And I'm glad that we all got a chance to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm super glad that I was able to kind of like do that because I wanted it to, I wanted to treat it as professionally as possible.
You've done a great job.
Oh, thanks. But also, not make it, and like, why make it hard? Like, it's not like I have anything better to do at this moment in time. Why like not respond or like be? There's no need for that. So yeah, I'm glad that that kind of resonated with you also. That's super great. Like honestly, I didn't really have that many questions for you. I'm really excited to write about your music. I think I want to kind of dive into the other singles that you guys have put out as well on the album review that I'm gonna write.
Well, I will say. I will say for anyone that would be interested with going back to In Your Sleep, my part specifically, if any of you watched Power Rangers growing up, I took a lot of inspiration from Ron Wasserman. I don't know if you've heard his Power Rangers Remastered album, but my drum part is very A-B. Like there's really only two sides to it and nothing is really ever different. But a lot of that stuff is kind of, I kind of tuned into that side of I guess, of the Power Ranger brain, I guess. And all of his songs are very bass drum heavy and, very simple in terms of drum patterns. And so it's awesome.
Remind me of his name. I'm gonna write it down.
I know he remastered a lot of songs. But that's just a fun little tidbit, is that I was thinking of Power Rangers when that song was being.
That's rad.
I was about to say, like, that's the funniest tidbit ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait to dive into that a little bit. That's so cool. I love that everything that we've talked about has kind of like led into like superheroes in some way. Like that's super cool.
Right, you talked about Naruto, right, with Sasuke and
Naruto and Sasuke. Yeah, I've been staring at this like Itachi hoodie from like this like skate brand. It looks so cool, but it's like so expensive.
Yeah,
like the Akatsuki cloud print.
I was looking at the Akatsuki baseball jerseys.
Oh my gosh, those are so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, because it's got like the nice embroidery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also staring at that Cheers to the Good Times hoodie on your guys' site.
They're awesome.
We've made a lot of
go buy our merch.
And
that's another song that we're releasing later.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we had originally recorded it in like 2018, I think. When we recorded like a bunch of songs in a barn one afternoon. Like we just live tracked everything. We just set up and like hit the red button and just played. So like that first semi-hollow EP with all those songs on it, we did Cheers at that time, but we were like, this is such a good song, like we should re-record it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be re-recording, or we already recorded it, but we're going to be releasing Cheers later on.
Nice.
So that's like what the hoodies are for, and then we have some other Cheers goodies to bring out too when that song drops.
I'm excited. So
we'll probably be re-recording some of the other ones on that in the future, just as far as continuity goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we owe a lot of it to Kenny. Like, I mean, if anyone is looking to record, you should definitely check him out. He is brilliant to work with. He's very, very smart. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
He wants you to
He'll challenge you on stuff too, which is really good. He'll criticize, and he will be like, you might want to try this. And if it's not better, I mean, he'll back off. But like at the same time, if it's better, it's better.
Yeah. Mystery Con Studios, like, really cannot recommend enough. Like, such a good dude, really fun to work with. Definitely gave the songs an awesome flavor, and just a really, really wonderful person to work with.
He's super.
He puts
fun.
110% into everything.
Yeah.
He does.
All around.
I love that. So one, you might see that order come in for that Cheers to the Good Times hoodie, or sweatshirt, whatever it is. But I think I have one last question to kind of tie it up. So each of you, who is your like person who is, they could be a smaller artist, or they could be a bigger artist, but kind of a name that people would know. Who is your
so that you're asking like who's our like kind of like musical like hero or like influence?
Your musical rival.
Yep.
I will start out by saying mine.
Okay.
And I think anybody could figure it out. Just like if you look at our website, you listen to whatever. Like my musical rival is Hayley Williams of Paramore.
I was gonna say that. That's what I was gonna guess.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not because like I aspired to be her, because that's weird. But it's more like when I was a young warthog, my
great reference.
My friend, because we like wanted to start a band. We were like, we all went to church, and we wanted to start like a like Skillet type like rock band. And my friend, who was a drummer at the time, had like sent me That's What You Get by Paramore. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna learn that song. And then like I recorded it and like sent it. And they were like, wow, you're a really bad singer.
That's what you get.
That's what you get. So ever since then, I've been like, I'm gonna be better than Haley Williams.
That's awesome.
In
So that's where my
terms of
story
mine,
comes from.
I would say my greatest, like, someone I've always tried to emulate or something like that would be David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. He was one of the players that initially wanted me to get into guitar. I remember hearing the kind of stuff he'd play and the solos he'd play and just the emotion he'd put behind everything he did, and just wanting to be able to draw similar emotions out of people just with music, to be able to put that kind of thought behind what I was doing. So David Gilmour would easily be someone I draw from a lot in terms of what I write and how I do it. And just in terms of not necessarily even direction, but just as far as influence and inspiration, is Pink Floyd and David Gilmour specifically.
Absolutely. That's so cool. All right. You guys are on the chopping block. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go next.
Right.
I guess I'll answer this question in like, I guess I kind of have like two, but it's like they were meshed together.
Okay.
So John Bonham, he might be one of my favorite drummers. Not one of the drummers I've ever lived. I think the way he just made the music today, and it's still good for a lot of parts. What's happening? Is there like a
Yeah, what is going on?
like what?
There's lightning flashing behind me.
No, that's not. I don't think he's asking about that. It's the noise.
I'm at a noisy house a little bit right now.
But
They sound like frogs.
It did. It
Yeah,
was like frogs. There was a door. There was a lot of
which made the silence kind of awkward because like we'd stop talking and it'd be like a cricket. Anyway,
There's yelling going on inside. I think the tree frogs are better to listen to.
Fair.
But yeah, so John Bonham, and then actually I met this person last year, and it changed my life because I've watched him, for a couple of years now, and I think he's probably the best right now, and that's Larno Lewis. He currently plays with Snarky Puppy, and he kind of records his own music. He kind of revolutionized the whole hybrid drumming, and the stuff he plays is just out of this world. And I went to see him play live one time, and it blew my mind. And I will never beat him, which is, in a way, it's good and bad. The good way is that, I always have something to reach for. And I try to do my best to play in his light, but put like my own version of it, like put my own, I guess my own name on it.
Spin,
spin, whatever you want to call it. So if John Bonham and Larno Lewis were like one person, if like one had the left arm, one had the right arm, and we're playing, that'd be those are my inspirations.
Nice. All right, Evan.
For me, I would say BJ Barham from a band called American Aquarium. I got really into them in college, like when I started writing a lot, because the way he wrote songs was just so like powerful, and really like just having like pride in songs and just like the act of like songwriting, and then tying that in with just like the absolute grind of like working hard with the band is definitely like super inspirational to me. Like I've seen them like 6 or 7 times. I've gone to see his solo stuff. He always chats with everybody after the show, and I always like pick his brain about songwriting or like band management or like touring, and he's always got cool stuff to say, and his band is actually like getting like pretty decently big, and playing like all over the country and the world. But definitely that's who I would pick. Just really was the person who made me want to like write songs and do it for a living, and like made me like light a fire under my butt to like really get going, and like not just like casually write, but like be a disciplined writer, and like always chase gigs and like constantly like be grinding on my phone trying to like search opportunities and just like really put the work into it, because like he says, like hard work conquers all. Like no matter how talented you are, if you don't work hard, then it's not gonna happen. So
Absolutely.
definitely, that's what I would say is BJ Barham from American Aquarium.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually wrote a blog post on that on my blog, where I was talking about like, you know, you could have a natural talent at something and like that's great and all, but like, you know, like I told you guys, I wasn't naturally talented at singing. I had to put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, same.
And like drumming, nobody is a born drummer. Nobody's born being amazing at.
Maybe that little girl. Have you seen that little girl on YouTube?
Oh my gosh!
That
like
plays and her brother plays the bass.
Some people are born talented.
And I envy them so much. And
same.
I hate, or I love to hate, or hate whatever way you want to spin it. Like it's like you want to be. Like you're so happy for them at the same time.
Yeah, you're like this tiny human is like 11 and they're already better than I am.
Yes. I mean, I'm just glad that we can admit it.
Yeah.
There's no fooling anyone.
Honestly, because like you know, for me with Haley Williams, I have like these moments where she posted this one. It made me so angry, but like in the good way. She posted like this Instagram story of her doing like this like what is the song? It's a Mariah Carey song. So she's like doing whistle tones and stuff in it. And I'm like, oh, God, you piss me off so much. Like
just being seeing someone do all that, and you're just like, God damn it.
Just makes me so angry. But like in a good way. Because that same day I was like, you know what? I gotta start warming up every day, and I gotta get and know that like sixth octave, it is what it is. Like I have to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's super awesome. So I might have to catch back up with you guys just in case I didn't write these down right, because I'd like to kind of shout those out, your musical rivals. But yeah, man, this has been super cool. And one day we are going to be somebody else's musical rival, and hopefully maybe one day we'll get to play a show together. I think our music will go well together.
That'll be awesome.
So